Okay, so we're going to be getting into some a little bit more unorthodox derivative problems you might see. So here's the first one, and this one honestly isn't too bad, but I thought I would show it anyways because some people might struggle with the way the problem is presented. So we need to find the derivative of y equals 1/2 x to the 4th power. This here's an x plus 7. And so all you need to do to this problem to make it easy is to factor in that 1/2. So you're going to get y equals 1/2 x to the 4th power plus 7/2. So now we actually take the derivative, so dy dx is equal to, so now we take the derivative of x to the 4th, becomes 4/2 x cubed, and then the derivative of 7/2 is 0, plus 0. And then the derivative here, dy dx equal to 2x cubed. Okay. Let's move along to the next problem. F of x is equal to x to the e power plus 1 over x to the square root of 10th power. Find x prime. Okay, so let's just go ahead and rewrite this. So f of x is equal to x to the e, actually that's an e, there you go, plus 1 over x root 10. Okay, so since there's a plus, we can treat these two terms as two separate derivatives pretty much here. Okay, so let's solve the green one first. Well, e is just a number, right? So we can treat this x to the e problem as x to any exponent just by using the power rule. So what we do is we multiply by e. So let's make sure we write down f prime so we know it's a derivative we're taking, f prime of x. And now we just do the normal power rule, which is going to be e times x. And then for the exponent, you just do the exponent minus 1. So that's going to be e minus 1. And that's the green derivative of the green area up there. So now we can do the blue one. Well, this is kind of difficult to visualize how to take this derivative, so we're going to move this to the numerator. We can do that since there's a 1 on top. So this is going to become x to the negative 10 square root. And so this green one's done, so now we just need to work on this blue one. This is the blue one here. Let's work on the blue one. And so we're going to just do the power rule again, because the square root of 10 is just a number. It's not a nice clean number, but it is a number. So you're going to multiply by negative square root 10 times x. And then we just subtract 1 from this exponent, whatever it is, minus 10 minus 1. Okay? And so this is the derivative of the blue area. This isn't simplified. You can simplify it, so we'll just go ahead and simplify the whole question for the sake of having a simplified and clean answer. So this green area actually is already simplified. E times x to the e minus 1. Now this blue area, we're going to do plus, then the negative square root 10 can stay on top. Negative square root 10 here. And we're going to move this x to the bottom because we do have a negative here. So then we're going to get x square root 10 minus 1. Okay? And that's our answer. So this really could have been two problems, right? Like how do you handle e in the exponent and how do you handle a square root? and the exponent. But there's really once you figure out how to do the trick, it's pretty simple. You just subtract 1 from whatever the exponent is, as long as it's not a variable. It can kind of throw you off if it's like an e or a square root, but it's not too bad. Okay. So we need to do factoring here. And this shouldn't be a plus, this should be a multiplication. So they're all multiplied together. So I'll rewrite the problem just to avoid any confusion. So 1 minus x times 1 plus x times 1 plus x squared times 1 plus x to the 4th. And we need to find dy dx. So basically the way you would handle this one is just to distribute everything into one long term instead of having a bunch of small terms and multiply against each other. So we're going to multiply these two together, then we're going to multiply these two together, and then take those two products and multiply them together. So this one will end up being 1 minus x squared. The second and third term cancel out, negative x and positive x cancel out, leaving you with the first and fourth terms here. This one ends up being 1 plus x squared plus x to the 4th plus x to the 6th. This here is a 4. This here is a 2. And so now we just need to take these two terms, multiply them together, and then we can finally take our derivative. Okay. So y equals, we're going to distribute the 1 first. So we're going to get 1 plus x squared plus x to the 4th plus x to the 6th. Now we distribute out this negative 2 squared. We're going to get minus x squared minus x to the 4th. Oh, I'm just going to rewrite that. Erase x to the 4th minus x to the 6th, and then minus x to the 8th. Okay. And so hopefully you remember that when you multiply two exponents together, you add the exponent. Okay. Well, this works out nicely because we have a positive x squared here and a negative x squared, so those cancel. Positive x to the 4th and negative x to the 4th, those cancel. Positive x to the 6th and negative x to the 6th, those cancel. And these just happen to cancel. If they didn't, then you would add them together and then take the derivative. This example just happened to work out nicely. So then we're left with y equals 1 minus x to the 8th. So all of this has been algebra. Now we can actually do our calculus. dy dx. Derivative of 1, 0. Derivative of negative x to the 8th. Negative 8x to the 7th power. And that's the answer.